This video was brought to you by ShadowArchon, who is supporting me in the Pulse Cannon tier. If you support me on the Pulse Cannon tier on Patreon or higher, you are guaranteed one video redemption per month as long as it is Starcraft 2 co-op and is reasonable in the scope. So, he was wondering how to completely end maps in co-op in the fastest way possible. So, there are two problems with that. Number one, I'm not a speedrunner, so I don't really play fast enough or have the skills to end the map as fast as possible. And number two, the speedruns for those have been established already. But the good news is that I do know the speedrunner who is the fastest in the business, Lila. His records are actually Abathur and Rainer. I did ask permission for him to do this video to take the replays from the speedrunning folder and show the replays right here, and I'll discuss what he did. So first map, we will have Scythe of Aemon, and he did this in about 8 minutes as Abathur. So while waiting for that to load, thank you to Bean Veteran, Carrion Queen, and Darth Lixnix and ShadowArchon who are supporting me in the Pulse Cannon tier. And thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. So again, this is one of the fastest ways to beat the map reliably. Lila told me that he can complete Scythe of Aemon solo as Abathur consistently within 8 minutes. So if you want a consistent way to speedrun without really caring about what to roll for in terms of enemy compositions, this is the way to do it. So first he sends out a probe out on the map. So what he does is he puts down these toxic nests here, note the locations. When you're a speedrunner of Lila's caliber, the positioning of the toxic nests matter. He's placing them down here. Here's the key. He places them down here so he can draw out the enemies to these nests. Okay, he started a Roach Warren before making any workers. And that will allow him to make a Spore Crawler on the spot. So, the Spore Crawler is faster to produce and has more health, so it's actually better for drawing out the enemies. So first, he draws out the enemies here. He puts down Toxic Nests in front of the Void Rift because the enemies that spawn from the Void Rift do so in front. So anything that spawns here will instantly be killed by these Toxic Nests. So he was able to put down 4 down there. Alright, so he left these Toxic Nests off autocast because he doesn't want them to blow up as soon as they come into contact with an enemy. What he does is he draws the enemies over, and when there are enough enemies here, he manually detonates the Toxic Nest. You can see he has all 10 workers in the control group. He has a Spore Crawler in the control group, and a Hatchery, and yeah. So he manually pulls back the Locust. See, the Locust is... This is why I say that the Locust is actually a debuff for Abathur. Because the Locust will actually draw aggro from these enemies. And when the Locust is killed, these enemies will start walking back. As you can see, these are starting to walk back. So what you want to do as Abathur is actually pull the Locusts back to keep aggroing the enemies. You can see these guys are actually walking back. That is unfortunate, but... here comes the Roach. So now with that, he's starting an Overlord. Okay, so he's gonna use the Roach to draw these enemies from here. So there's a funny pathing here where if you drop a Toxic Nest right here, this time Lila didn't do it, but if you drop a Toxic Nest right here, all the enemies will aggro to the thing that gives you vision to place down the Toxic Nests. It's kind of weird, but kind of works out that way. So this time he's able to draw all these guys without the need of a Toxic Nest. So once these guys are in the correct position, he will blow them all up. We'll draw out some more dudes here. You can see he used the Locust to draw out enemies in this spot, and he pulled them away. Okay, you can see that. Yeah, you can see that the Void was trying to spawn enemies, but they get spawn killed by the Toxic Nest that Lila placed down over here. By the way, while that's going on, Lila will start a couple of extractors and start 2 more Roaches. The Roaches will be used to bring down to spawn the ultimate evolutions, the Brutalisks. And while that's happening, Lila is still placing down toxics there, and then he uses a couple more charges here in these spots. So he places down 3 toxic nests here, and what he will do is draw those enemies to that location as he puts down workers to harvest some gas. He only needs enough resources to get 6 units. The ultimate evolutions, the 3 Leviathans and 3 Brulisks. So once those are over, he will detonate them all and destroy those enemies to get a lot of biomass over here. As this Brulisk is still wailing away at this Void Shard, but not too much. He just wants to take out the Void Rift. Okay, the roaches are on the way. Second Brulisk, you can see he does go back here and waits for some more charges of Toxic Nests. Second Brulisk is up. Here comes the third. So now Lila has 3 Brutalisks. He will be able to deep tunnel to one of the farther shards. The trick on Scythe of Amon is you actually want to burst down the far shards first if you're speedrunning, because these have lighter defenses and they get heavier as time goes on. So if you burst them down first, the defenses on the closer shards will be lighter than the ones over here. That makes that makes your speedrun a whole lot better. But let's see him in action. Yeah, he deep tunnels here, exactly to where he needs to be. So he wants to take out the big units first. Take out that Void Rift, and then down with the siege tank. And there's a Thor back here, I believe. Yeah, there's a Thor here. He will focus this down. By the way, while this is happening, he has a Spore Crawler here to try and aggro the enemies to the Toxic Nests. While that is happening, he pulls back. He pulls back. The Brutalisk is being shot by the Thor to make sure to preserve the health of his ultimate evolutions. Now he will start a Spire at 17 supply. Or rather, as soon as the lair finishes, yeah. So notice how the Brutalisk are positioned in such a way that both the symbiote and the Brutalisk are attacking, but the Brutalisk's attack is actually the anti-air one. This spit thing from the Brutalisk is more effective, has a faster fire rate. Like I can't mass over now, but you can actually do more damage using the anti-air of the Brutalisk rather than the anti-ground. So you want to actually put the Brutalisk far enough that they will use the anti-air attack on the Void Shards to burst them down faster. But not too far that the symbiotes will be out of range. Down goes the first one. You can see the Zergus are getting drawn to the 4. Now Lila will detonate all of them. Okay, he deep tunnels to the furthest shard. This one is the most heavily defended. But he focuses down the key enemies here. First took out the Banshee. The Banshee deals a ton of damage. And then the other Banshee, and then the Colossus. You want to focus this down before anything else. Okay, so he split up his forces. He used 1 Brutalisk to fight this rift, and the other 2 to take out the Banshee and the Colossus. He splits them out to make the blue fort not target them. All right. Now he has 2 Mulisks on the way. Both of these will be Leviathans. So once again, look, all 3 Brutalisks are attacking with their anti-air, and also the symbiotes are all attacking. Okay, here comes the Mutalisk. So he's sending the Mutalisk to the middle of the map, right through the shard, the big shard in the middle. So you want to be careful if you want to do this, because there are a lot of enemies here. See, notice how he is pathing between the areas where there are defenses. It's a pretty tight spot, but yeah, the marker is this thing right here. So you want to move your Mutalisk here, just between the enemy defenses, and to this spot on the ramp, and then under the tree to not aggro all the enemies. Next, he will deep tunnel to this spot. Try to take out these guys. So he's just gathering biomass for that swarm, or for that Mutalisk over there. And we will get the next ultimate evolution. So I believe he was able to where's that last Mutalisk? Ah, it's over here. Alright. So he takes out the battlecruiser. Okay. There we go. There's the Leviathan. And the second Leviathan. The last Leviathan is now on the way. He's also getting +1 air attack. To have his Leviathans deal even more damage. Okay, so you can see all the Voiders have now been taken out. And this Voider will be easy pickings from here. Notice now how Lila is starting some Spore Crawlers over here. He will start wailing away at this Void Rift. Unfortunately, the Immortal has something to say about that. The good news is that he does deep tunnel his Brutus over here to take out the Void Rifts and the Immortals. And now he is actually pretty lucky that the Death Crystal spawned here. If the Death Crystal was here, there's a chance it would grab the Mutalisk and it will delay Lila's time. But as it is, he is now starting a couple of Spore Crawlers here to help burst down the Void Shards. And he is flying his Leviathans to start dealing damage over to this last spot to soften him up for when the Brutalisks finally arrive. After killing this this fourth Void Sliver. Alright. He's flying into this spot. Okay, he's making more Spore Crawlers to help burst down that shard. You can see the Leviathans are just here trying to take out the heavy hitters. The Siege Tank is gone, now the Aberration, and yeah, he's just watching for any big boys over here. Okay, he's bursting to the shard. Okay, now he'll focus on the carrier. Alright, once this goes down, he will just deep tunnel everything here to this last spot. And again, he makes sure to have all his Brutalisks use the anti-air. This one at the back is also shooting. Now he brings over the Spore Crawlers. And he will just, he's actually just right clicking on this shard now, which is actually what he wants to do because this is a speed run. He wants to end this as fast as possible. And down it goes. That was the last objective. So to recap, what Lila did, he gathered biomass by placing that tossness here, drew some enemies from here to here, and then here to here, and then went back here to get his first Brutalisk. And he used that Brutalisk while getting some more roaches from here and harvesting some gas to fight the enemies over here, placed down 3 Toxic Nests, and then drew the enemies to those Toxic. Basically, what you want to do as Abathur is draw enemies to your Toxic Nests, get biomass, then get the big boys. And then once he has 3, he went right away to the furthest shards. He first worked on this one because it has the weakest defenses. And then once that was down, he went to this spot and this spot. These 3 spots are the hardest 3 in the later game. So he took them out early. And once those are down, the remaining defenses here are not as strong as these 3. So these ones are a lot easier to take out. So that's what you want to do as speedrunning. You don't want to delay the game also because the longer the game goes, the more attack waves spawn. So the general key to speedrunning is fewer attack waves is going to make your army much stronger in comparison, and in Abathur's case, ultimate evolutions are going to reign supreme because fewer attack waves means fewer things shooting at them, so they have more of a window to just clear the map. As he ends the map right at 8 minutes. That is the first game. And that is the first game, yeah. So now let's move on to the second game, which is even faster. As I said before, the Scythe of Amon run is very consistent for Lila. He can actually get that down between 8 minutes and 9 minutes. But this one, Lock and Load, is faster, but it's a little more enemy composition, enemy race specific. So yeah, Lila actually wants to go for Zerg here, because Zerg will get him the fastest possible biomass. So let's see what he does. He pretty much does the same thing, fast Roach, and then puts down a couple of Toxic Nests over here. 3 Toxic Nests are enough. Look at how fast his buildings make. So this is a speed run, so he actually prioritizes building speed over Toxic Nest charges. It is slightly, yeah, he has a few points, maybe a couple, but most of his effort is going to be focused on getting his buildings out faster. So you see, he waits for the enemies to position themselves optimally. Again, switch off autocast, maximize. He actually had very lucky respawn RNG here. So another thing that's RNG heavy on Abathur is the Toxic Nest spawn. Sometimes these don't spawn, and these will completely ruin a run. This is why I said that the Scythe of Aemon is more reliable, because he relied less on respawning Toxic Nests there. He only needed a single use of each one. But in this one, he actually wanted the Toxic Nests to respawn so he can use them again. Look, this will be this Toxic Nest's third time exploding, and he will have another one on the way. That will be just enough to take out those. Okay, this Toxic had tremendous value, and I will get this ultimate evolution really fast. Now he has another roach on the way. He needs tunnels here. He'll put down some Toxic Nests over here as he draws some of these guys here. Again, look, he drops down a single Toxic Nest over here to aggro all of these guys to this Brutalisk. I'm not sure how this works, but it does. So just, yeah, he just drops down here, aggro's all of them. And remember, switch all of these Toxic Archive. You can see he has all three Toxic Nests in the single control group. That will allow him to manually detonate all of them at once, like so. That will get him the second ultimate evolution. And now he has another Brutalisk on the way after the Overlord completes. And now he has the gas starting to harvest. Or not yet. He will harvest them soon. Don't worry. He will harvest them soon. He will smash this area to get enough biomass for his third Brutalisk. Now he deep tunnels here. Once he has his third. So you can see that he's trying to burst down all of the enemies here. Just capture it quickly. By the way, on Lock-a-Lot, you obviously need an ally to capture the locks. What he's doing is he has a Rainer ally who will just drop mules and stuff to help capture workers at the first. Yeah, for workers at first. But this is basically a solo speedrun, meaning you can do this on your own as long as you have an ally who is willing to capture the lock. That's another thing about speedrunning lock and load. You actually need an ally to help capture the locks. But that is fine. Okay, now that he's cleared this area, he is free to move to the north lock, start capturing there. Okay. He puts down a bunch of Toxic Nests at the front. Just draws all these guys to their demise. He makes a bunch of backup roaches. Look, he makes a bunch of backup Brutalisks by making these roaches. These will be Brutalisks if ever they fall. Okay. Yeah, Lila wants to keep this worker alive. So this is a solo speedrun, but the ally has to be completely aware of the strategy. So he needs to drop the mule on time and on location. So even though it's a speedrun, you still need an ally. Even though it's a solo speedrun, you still need an ally. That's capturing this. And now he's attacking this spot. Ooh, risks are getting pretty low. Here's the men. He's actually praying that the big hybrid just uses Yamato. All right. Now the Rainer ally draws all his SCVs over here. Has these roaches collect biomass. All right, we're getting pretty low. Two of them fall. The third one is holding on his own. So he doesn't actually need to even fight the first wave. All he has to do is hold the locks long enough and make sure the enemies don't actually walk to the locks. So you can see there's a bit of RNG here because the Brutalisk could possibly wander over here. So he has to put down his Brutalisk far enough that the Brutalisk doesn't actually aggro. And got a few more here. Right as the Brutalisk falls.
Once again, Aemon's minions fall before our conviction.
That is the fastest solo speedrun of lock and load. But believe it or not, if you have an ally in this game, you can actually complete even faster. So let us watch the fastest ever run on in all of co-op actually. This one is the fastest possible completion. We have Catskill, I believe, who is playing as Dahaka, P1, and Abathur being played by Lila again. So this is lock and load, so he'll probably have even Fury. Remember, on Scythe of Amon, he needed 6 units, 3 Brulisks and 3 Leviathans. Now, he will have only 3 units, 3 Brulisks. So, the first part will be largely the same. It will have a worker out here.
Greetings, commanders.
And we'll try to provide vision. Another worker here. Okay, Toxicness are going down. Again, Zerg is the preferable enemy composition here, or the enemy race here. 5 Toxicness down right away. He uproots the Primal Hive because he'll use it for offense. This is how tight speedrunning is, and why it's just not for me. Because yeah, when you think about it, you don't actually get to the late game here when you speedrun. All you do is end the map as fast as possible, which gets you a win, which gets you XP. But I believe that one of the fun things about co-op is getting to the late game, get those big armies, those big engagement, those huge top bars, and doing speedruns is fine if you want to get EXP. But you probably don't want to play like this all the time. Anyway, so he'll have a bunch of units here. The Haka deep tunnels to this spot right away, and Abathur will detonate all of them at once. Okay, so the Hive dude is still here. This drone will start capturing the lock. Okay, devour that. Okay, drone's on the way for Abathur. Alright, more detonations. Okay, Brutalisk is already here. On the first one, this is pretty hard to keep up. I'll have to be watching this. Okay, another Viper. So as the Haka, you want to eat the Vipers because they provide a magic fart which will deal a lot of damage and reduce the cooldown. Also, since this is P1 Dehaka, anything in Devour will also buff his allies. So the Brutalisk will be even stronger because they will get the buff from Dehaka. So you can see that it does so much damage. Like these things fall immediately. So we now have 3 Brutalisks here. Drones are capturing the lock. Lilas drones are on the way. And now Dehaka has devoured a big boy over here. I believe he might have devoured the big hybrid, which is fine in this case because yeah, that's the most dangerous unit. It does Yamato and stuff. So Dehaka is deep tunneling to not sure where he is, but there's a Brutalisk here capturing this lock, a Brutalisk here aggroing everything, while the workers get into place to try to capture the lock. All they have to do is delay the game for long enough to capture all the locks. So you can see they've cleared out the central lock and the south lock, and they've cleared some of the defenders on the north lock and distracting it with this Primal Hive from Dehaka. All he needs to do is let one extractor survive, and just let this Hive wail away at this defense over here. This Brutalisk is distracting distracting the enemies while the drones are capturing the lock. I believe Catskill also has a drone over here capturing the lock. And now on the north lock they have a Brutalisk and Dehaka capturing. And on the east lock there's a Brutalisk and some drones. So all I have to do is delay the enemy, just not let them get here. Ooh, do not let these things die. Okay, this one's almost captured. Do you guys see how insane this is? You have to be super on point with everything, every single thing. Like drones capturing at the same time to minimize the dialogues from Rohana. Just your Brutalisks and your heroes body blocking the enemy to keep them from aggroing onto the lock. Okay, so they have 3 locks capturing at the same time. Look at that, 3 locks captured at the same. All they have to do now is stand on this lock and prevent the enemy from getting here. Yeah, look at that. That yelly thing with the Hawk actually prevented the Corruptor from flying over here and canceling the capture. And check this out, 2:54, 2 minutes 54. That's all they need. Like, they didn't even fight a single attack wave this game. All they did was aggroed some units here, used some toxic nests to blow those up, and then the Haka went here, devoured a couple of Vipers, went over here, aggroed a couple of units aggroed all the units here to the couple of toxic nests, and then devoured more Vipers, and then that allowed Lila's Roachers to basically have a free run to all that biomass. And once he got three Brutalisks, he just had to deep tunnel one here, distract all the enemies to this Brutalisk, which again was buffed. The buff Brutalisk is actually enough to hold on while the drones get into position. Meanwhile, the Haka was walking up here, killing a bunch of enemies, walking his hive up to distract the enemies, while again, a couple of drones walked past, and this Brutalisk also is already deep tunnel in position. And finally, the Haka himself deep tunnels here after the Brutalisk gave him vision. So very tight. A lot of things can go wrong. If the enemy's Terran, for sure this doesn't work, because Terran has bunkers, they have doors, and they have basically no biomass. And yeah, it'll still probably be really fast, but not this fast. Not sub 3 minutes fast. 2 minutes 58 seconds. That is actually even faster than the Rainer Artanis one, like years before. Years before, there used to be a cheese here where Rainer Artanis would just drop Marines and Zealots at the back and just take out the static defense when the enemies wouldn't aggro onto the locks yet. But now this one's even faster. All I have to do is body block the enemies from getting to the locks. But yeah, if you want to be a speedrunner of co-op, this is the level of play you have to achieve. And to be honest, it's not from me, because A, my speedrunner videos get the least views, so if people not watching, and B, yeah, this has to be done with a lot of practice, a lot of coordination, and a lot of knowledge on where every single thing on the map is. You have to know that there are 2 Vipers between the south and the east lock. You have to know there are another 2 Vipers at the south lock. You have to know where to body block the enemies so that they don't get onto the locks. You have to know exactly where everything else on the map in order to do something like this. But that is ShadowArchon's Redemption, so that's what I did. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for what else I could do, please leave in a comment. I will link to Lila's videos down below. Do watch him. He's the best Avatar play I know. And I will see you guys next time.